build. This one's going to be relatively simple. It's my PvE Warden build. It can do all the content in the game, but there are some... We play to the Warden's best strengths. One from the max DPS you can do, because it's bullshit and it doesn't play to the theme of the Warden. This is meant to follow the theme of the Warden, meaning magicka and frost damage. Those will be explained, the frost F will be explained in the passives. But for starters, there are the base stats. Spell damage will go up, so will health. Every time you heal as a Warden, you get minor toughness. I don't have that maxed out yet, but those are the base stats. Spell damage will go up about 300 more. 400 more if you have an infused staff. But for starters, we're using War Maiden. It does crit, magicka, spell damage, and adds almost 600 spell damage to your magicka abilities. It will be 600 gold. I only have purple. Next, Narayana's. When you deal direct damage, and as a Warden, you will deal direct damage. You have a 15% chance to summon a Lich Crystal that will deal almost 1300 magicka damage in 4 meters. I don't have a dummy set up, otherwise I'd show that. It'll proc all the time. Next is Calorians. All of the rest of this gear is boosted by Wardens. Does crit damage, crit, and when you deal direct crit damage with a single target attack, you will launch a fireball, fire, ice shock, or disease ball at your target, and it will deal 17,000 damage, and it can occur every 10 seconds. How this Warden is set up, you will be dealing more than enough. You'll almost be over-critting, which is good. 64 points into magicka. The Apprentice to boost spell damage. You can go the Shadow, but Apprentice works the best. Next, skills. Harness magicka as your damage shield. You want this up all the time. And as a Warden, you can sustain it better than most classes in the game. Birds of Prey to get your minor berserk. This is in the light armor skill line. You need 5 pieces of light armor to use it. These 4 abilities all come from animal companions. Your Cliff Racer. The further away you are, the more damage it will do. Deep Fissure. It's your main burst ability. Fletcher Infection. Now, you cast this once, and it will deal the 17,000 magicka damage over 10 seconds. You cast it again, it will increase the damage of each of the whole ability, and it will also do minor vulnerability, increasing their damage taken for the duration of the ability. And your ultimate, that is just here for passives, is Northern Storm. It will deal frost damage every 1 second for 8 seconds to enemies around you, and reducing their movement speed, and increasing your max magicka when you use it. And you and your allies gain major protection, reducing your damage taken by 30%. Again, here for passives, and passives only. It's here for this passive, Frozen Armor. And you need the one ability from this for this passive. Increase your magic and frost damage by 10%. It doesn't show in the gear or the stats, but you're doing 10% more damage if you're using flat magicka and ice and frost abilities. Back bar. Lotus Blossom. This is an extremely underrated ability. From most builds I've seen, they do not utilize this for DPS. Your lights and heavies restore health to you or nearby allies for 20 seconds. And you gain Minor Prophecy. Minor Prophecy puts us at 50%. That'd be health. That'd be health. That'd be health. That'd be health. Again, every light or heavy attack will give you or your allies health. Extremely underrated ability. It is your main heal in some regard. This is mainly just for the damage and the stun. Next is obviously Blue Betty. It will give you your sorcery and brutality. And it's also a purify. And it will restore your magicka. This is the Warden has some of the best sustain. Flat out. Best sustain. Next is Arctic Blast. It is our heal that we have. It does frost damage every 1 second for 4 seconds. And if an enemy is hit 3 times, they will be stunned. This is a really good ability. You can also take more that heals a nearby ally, but we're selfish. Unstable Wall of Frost. Chilled enemies, and each tick of damage can do a chilled. And then chilled enemies will be frozen in this. Meaning anything and this will be chilled and then frozen. Or they will be chilled and immobilized by that. Winter's Revenge. This is a really good ability. It will deal frost damage every 1 second for 12 seconds. It's like a liquid lightning or a Templar spear, shards, but there's no synergy sadly. It has a heightened chance to deal a chilled status effect. Really good. Next, Icy Rage. This is your main ultimate. I mean, it's the it's the Destro staff ulti, but it's the Frost variant, and it doesn't show, but we're actually doing 10% more damage with it on top of the Warden set. Food. It's quite simple. Just the blue max stat food. You don't need anything else on the Warden. Okay, passives. Animal companions, you want all of these. Anytime an animal companion's ability ends, you heal. When you cast an animal companion ability while you're in combat, you generate ultimate. It can occur every 8 seconds. This is really good. Next, increase your magicka and stamina recovery by 12% if an animal companion ability is slotted. This is really, really good. And obviously increase your damage done. You're going to be on the front bar until you gotta set down your dots and cast your ulti and add your buffs. Then go back to this bar. Next, green balance. This is, I don't have this maxed out yet, but you want all of these. When you heal yourself or an ally under 40% with a green balance ability, you gain major mending, increasing your healing done by 25% for 3 seconds. Meaning, if you are under that 40%, you'll get it. Again, yourself or an ally. When you heal an ally with the green balance ability, and you will gain 250 magic or stamina, whichever resource pool is lower. This can occur every 1 second. We don't have any slotted. This is not a healer. This is a DPS. And then obviously you want this passive to get the full duration of minor toughness. Winter's Embrace. Again, you want all the passives from the Warden. Increase the chance of applying chilled to enemies with the Winter's Embrace abilities by 200%. Increase your physical and spell resistance. Reduce the effectiveness of snares. This is really good in PvP, both these. And then cold. Piercing cold. Increase your magicka and frost damage by 10%. Again, everything we're doing is either magic or frost damage. Destruction staff. This is where it gets nice. Obviously you want that and this. You don't want this. If you're gonna do a DPS with the frost staff, you do not take this passive. It will make the frost staff a taunt and taunt the enemy to you. Yes, it gives you a damage shield, but you are not a tank. You're a DPS. Do not take this ability. Everything else you want. But this is a no-no. You don't take this. It's bad. Light armor, you want everything. Heavy armor, I don't have heavy or I don't have heavy or medium. Or I think I might have a piece of... Yeah, I have 2 medium, but I don't have the mediums passives. Fighters Guild. You can take Trap Beast over Wings. You can't take Barbed Trap, but on the PTS I tested it, and Birds of Prey is funner and better to use. Obviously we are a high elf. You can go Breton or dark elf, but high elf is better. A class ability. When you activate a class ability, you restore 640 magic or stamina based on whichever is lowest. This can occur every 6 seconds. And anything with a channel time you will take less damage. Increase max magicka and increase spell damage. That's it. And increase your XP gain. Very good. Next, champion points. These are relatively simple. You don't really need to change anything to go into PvP. Arcanist and Tenacity, 75. 45 into Warlord. You can put some into Sprinter from Warlord. You can do 25-20. 75 into Tumbling, so we can get the Treasure Hunter passive. 56 Elfborn, 75 Element Expert to increase our magic and frost damage further. 10 into Spell Erosion. You don't need to put these here. You can put them in Blessed if you want. 34 in Mastered Arms. 20 into Staff Expert, 75 into Thermitage, so we can get this, increase your damage done against off-balance enemies by 10%, 51 into Ironclad, 30 into Spell Shield, 39 into Resistant, to get this passive, to get the damage shield when you block, 30 into Light, 40, 40. These three all get 40, this one gets 30. Or you can take 10 and 10 from here and put them into Quick Recovery. You don't need it, but that's just an option. Let's see, did I skip over anything? At base, you don't have a lot of recovery, but being a Warden, with this ability, you have plenty of recovery. And you can just use magic potions that you pick up off the ground, or crown potions, it doesn't matter. They all perform pretty much the same. Let's see, did I get everything? Yes, I did. And instead of using the Destro Staff or the other ultimate, you can use the Eternal Guardian as more of a execute, since the Warden doesn't have an ability for it. But yeah, that covers it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the build. Yeah.